1, 2, 3, yeah! This is Amari Purple Talk. Yes. Welcome to episode 98 of Amari Purple Talk, a podcast where I share my thoughts on the Prince musical singularity. I'm Richard Cole, Imaginationist, comic book myth builder, and the Vic Sage of Funk. Thank you once again for tuning in. Please leave your comments in the comments section below, and please download on your favorite podcast platform. If you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And please continue to send your questions or topic suggestions for Amari Purple Talk. And how you can do that is by clicking the link in the show notes below, either the website link for Amari Communications, or by following me on Twitter at RichardCole_now, using the hashtag Amari Purple Talk, and your topic or question might just be read in a future episode. All right, so rolling right along. We are in the final week of the latest Prince Twitter thread, and this spotlight is on the Jill Jones Paisley Park album. So we're getting down to our final 3 installments. Coming up on July 27th will be a discussion on the song Baby Your Trip, and that will be done by Aisha Staggers at Aisha Staggers on Twitter. That will be followed on July 28th with a retrospective of the year 1987. That will be done by one of the moderators, Edgar Cruz. So follow him on Twitter at Edgar Cruz. And we're going to cap it off with a very special VIP thread on July 29th featuring the artist herself, Jill Jones at Jill D. Jones. So get on Twitter, hit the hashtag Prince Twitter thread, and read this latest installment of entries as they appear on their respective dates. Also check out the previous threads from the previous month, spotlighting this great album. This is an album that definitely deserves a reissue. I still have my original cassette from 1987. I used to have the CD. I got some of the 12-inch singles on vinyl. But definitely this needs to be re-released as a special album, CD, deluxe edition, expanded edition. So by all means, let's drop some bugs in the Prince Estate's ear, and let's make this happen. So once again, hashtag Prince Twitter thread, Jill Jones album. Thanks to the administrators at DJ UMB and Edgar Cruz for inviting me to participate in this latest Twitter thread. So definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun and look forward to doing more. So with that out of the way, we're going to first, talk about upcoming season 3 of Amari Purple Talk. Normally, we would start the new season kind of in late August. Actually, the new season is going to start probably in September, probably around late September. And that's because I want to make some changes to the show, the format, how things are done. Maybe change the theme song a bit. Also, too, kind of want to open the floor for guest hosts, co-hosts, special guests, that kind of thing. So as season 3 unfolds, hopefully it will evolve into including some very wonderful people to join me on the show. So That being said, I'm going to move right along to today's topic. Today's topic will be the truth vinyl versus the CD. So basically, I know, like, well, why are we doing the Truth album? It's been out for quite a while. Originally, I was going to do a video, like I did with the Record Store Day haul, the Jackson CD vinyl comparisons or digital comparisons. But like I said, I kind of want to take time to upgrade, step up my video game a little bit. So decided to make this a topic. I know there's been some rumblings about the nature of the Prince estate lately. There is a great episode of Prince Podcast over on Podcast Juice with Michael Dean. For all the information on that, definitely check out that episode. There's been a lot of stuff since that episode dropped. There was an article in the Minneapolis Star Tribune. Some other websites have picked it up. It's been going across the Prince musical singularity on social media. So I'm going to weigh in on my thoughts on next week's episode to kind of study some more as to what's going on and kind of just give my opinions. Now, I'm just a podcast pundit, a Prince pundit, purple pundit. Don't work for the estate, don't work for Sony, I don't work for Warner Brothers. But, I've got thoughts, I've got opinions, and, just definitely check it out. So next week we'll cover what everybody's talking about this week in regards to that. But let's get back to the truth, the vinyl versus the CD. So I was unable to get to my local record store June 12th for Record Store Day, and probably just as well because they didn't have a copy of the truth anyway. So I ended up actually ordering online. So just kind of stalking the internet for, that evening. Saw that it was available, placed an order, and it arrived in a pretty good, timely manner. But I'm going to discuss basically how the Record Store Day vinyl release compares to the original CD that was part of Prince's 1998 compilation CD, Crystal Ball, as well as how it compares to versions of streaming platforms. So I'm going to start with a little bit about streaming. So Apple Music, which is one of the streaming platforms that I listen to, it does have lossless audio available. Can play up to 24-bit at 48 kilohertz and has a really great clarity and clean sound. I would say probably the standout on Apple Music would be the song Come Back. It has a warmth in the sound quality, allows the feel of the emotion to come through on the song. So that's Apple Music. One of my favorites that I've been speaking about over the last few weeks has been Qobuz. And they're a relatively new streaming platform. Before Apple got into the lossless or lossless audio, Qobuz had been pretty much doing it first. Them and Tidal. I had subscribed to Tidal for a great number of years, but gave it up, was considering going back to Tidal till I heard about Qobuz, and love the sound quality on Qobuz. And again, this is not an endorsement for Qobuz. This is just one purple pundit's opinion on how great that streaming platform sounds. They offer all music in, of course, in MP3 at 320 kpps. They also have lossless audio as low as 16-bit, as well as high resolution quality lossless up to 24-bit at, say, 192 kilohertz for certain albums. And they also offer downloads in various forms, either WAV or FLAC files. So it's a really great streaming service to check out. It is pricey. Like I said, I was going to go back, but it's definitely worth the extra ducats just for the sound quality. I enjoyed it. I was listening to the Times debut album, the reissue expanded edition, and it just sounds amazing. You actually probably heard me talk about it on last week's episode, talking about the vinyl reissue of the Time. But if you haven't heard that, check that out and then come back and check out this episode. So, back to the Truth album. So, as far as Qobuz, the songs Third Eye and Dion are the best listening examples on Qobuz. Though the song Come Back, while there is more clarity in the vocals, to me, the sound was very sharp and it was a little bit intrusive, and it took away from what I was feeling about the song, you know, based on the original CD, based on the vinyl version. So to me, in this case, Come Back on vinyl is the best listening experience. You're really drawn into the emotion, and that comes across very well in the production. Welcome to the Dawn is another where the vinyl has me appreciating the song more than I have just out of all the years of listening to it on CD. Also, the percussion elements on streaming are better heard in the mix, and I get to hear the different percussion instruments to where on the original CD, I've always heard it kind of everything just kind of grouped together. And while it's still enjoyable, when you get to hear the breakdown on streaming of all the different elements, it just really allows the songs or the tracks to really breathe to me. So that's pretty much the case on streaming, both Apple Music as well as Qobuz. Now, moving on to the vinyl, reading the liner notes on the vinyl, this has not been remixed or remastered for vinyl. The original mix does lend itself very well to vinyl. Prince's vocal on the title track and Don't Play Me are very front and center and places properly above the mix. And the vinyl, it provides a more listening experience versus how things are mastered for streaming. In this case, Circle of Amore would be one of the standouts on the vinyl release. Also, too, Animal Kingdom is a song that I enjoyed on the CD, but I better understand why I like the production of this song just based on how I was hearing it on vinyl. The vinyl does come with a digital download code as well, so I haven't had a chance to utilize that yet, so I'm curious as to what my listening experience would be with that. So I'll probably download that and probably just give a review of the digital download. It might be just the same as what I hear on the streaming services, but based on how I hear it through my computer or the headphones that I'm using currently to record this episode, that might be a different experience altogether. So I'm kind of curious as to how that would work. But overall, I enjoy those elements of the vinyl. I do have some criticisms of the vinyl, and they're very minor. Nothing about the production, how it was mixed, how it was mastered, Those things are absolutely perfect. Like I said, again, based on the liner notes, there's no remix or remaster of this album. So, based on the original mix, which was done by Prince and H.M. Buff, and I forget the other person involved in the engineering and mixing process, it, like I said, it translates very well to vinyl. But the criticisms of the vinyl itself, to me, well, it was very dusty, and that was from the fact that it was not in an anti-static sleeve. So usually, even with brand new vinyl, you are going to get elements of dust. So I would probably recommend a very good record cleaner and anti-static brush would do it. Extends the life of your vinyl. Also, too, invest in some anti-static sleeves to kind of prevent additional dust from affecting the play of your vinyl. So, like I said, that's just a minor criticism. However, based on that, there is a smudge on my copy that caused Man in a Uniform to skip in the middle and near the end of the song. So I'm going to have to kind of get some more record cleaner and thoroughly clean that vinyl to see if I can correct that. Otherwise, I may have to purchase another copy. But again, that is the chance that you take still in the 21st century purchasing vinyl. It was an inconvenient memory, but that was part of the vinyl experience. You know, sometimes you ended up with those records and brand new, you unseal it and there's an imperfection. And that is the chance you take with buying used vinyl, buying brand new vinyl. But again, take good care of your records and the music will take care of you. So we'll see. Like I said, I either have to get some more record cleaner to correct the problem or just try to get another copy. But the intimate feel of the vinyl makes the vinyl the better listening experience overall. But depending on your favorite track, you may find yourself enjoying one song better on one particular platform or CD better than vinyl or vice versa. And again, it's a very tiny criticism of it. And again, that's a chance you're going to take whether you totally love vinyl, whether you totally love CDs, or you totally love streaming. A lot of times, you know, us purists, you know, we say, oh, vinyl's better, you know, because it sounds warmer. Well, if the album in question was mixed in analog, you know, whether it's 1950s, 60s, 70s, early 80s was the beginning of digital recording. The first album that I had where it said in the liner notes, this album was recorded digitally, was Paul McCartney's Tug of War album. So I don't know if it was the absolute first album that was done that way, but the first album I purchased back in 1981 that had that in the liner notes. But still, even throughout the 80s, up to a certain point, most albums were still done analog. You know, most of Prince's albums were recorded in analog. So, yeah, in that case, you know, depending on if a CD remaster, say by the late 80s, was done 16-bit, 24-bit, at that time, it might have been a better listening experience, or it may still be a better listening experience. But predominantly, any vinyl that was done in analog, chances are would sound better. But again, you know, music is subjective, and how you hear things is subjective as well. So again, there's albums that, yeah, the vinyl is perfect. There's albums where certain CD, you know, remasters are better. There's certain original CD pressings that was just a transfer that was better. And there are some things that lend themselves to streaming that are better. And again, evidenced by what I was hearing, this is one of the cases where it really just depends on the song. No format 100% is going to be better in this equation. So, as far as the CD, that is going to be hard to find for now. The Crystal Ball CD, it's going to be hard to find. If you do find it, you might find it a bit pricey because it is out of print. And the only way you can listen to it is on your streaming services or if you have an original copy of the CD. So the vinyl for now is going to be the only physical media available. So I don't know, hopefully the Prince Estate will release this as a standalone CD at some point. Or do like a little special deluxe bundle, where you get the vinyl and the CD also. But I would like to have a standalone CD with the cover and the liner notes and the lyrics. The vinyl comes with the lyrics, and that's something you didn't get with Crystal Ball, when it was part of that package. So, I don't know. Let's, again, drop that bug in the ear. I know there's some things going on with the estate for right now, but as that is playing out, plans are still in effect. So, we'll see. So, I'm going to wrap up this comparison with what I'm calling the Fascination Litmus Test. And that's just because, really, Fascination, I think, overall is my favorite song on The Truth. I just kind of, I love how, you live with an album for a while. And, especially if it's something that has hits. And, of course, you're into the hits. You might discover another couple of tracks along the way. Sometimes you might love the whole album all the way through upon your first few listenings. But I love it when you kind of live with an album for a while. It could be a few weeks, could be a month and a half, or whatever. And it's like it's a song you've kind of heard in the background for a while, but then it creeps up on you like, damn, this is great. The Stick from the First Time album was one of those. I'd had the album for a while and, heard it. But then I think it was just a point, you have maybe just that, extra time to just kind of relax a bit. And it's like, damn, this is great. And that sort of became my overall favorite song off of that album. Same thing with Fascination, just kind of crept up on me and I'm like, damn, this is great. And so here's the Fascination Litmus Test. So starting with Apple Music, the acoustic guitars to me are more distinguished than the rest of the sounds on the album. To me, the other sounds on the album are a bit more muffled when you listen to it on Apple Music. On Qobuz, to me, the percussion and vocals are more prominent, and there's better separation of Rhonda Smith's bass. And to me, the guitar solo is clearer when I listen to it on Qobuz. While on the CD, Rhonda Smith's bass stands out, but the overall song itself, it's a little bit better balanced than it is on streaming. To me, the vinyl is equal to the CD overall. The bass doesn't stand out on the vinyl as it does on the CD. The guitars are balanced well, and the guitar solo is a little bit more up front, and it's not as overpowering as it is on streaming. And again, these are just little minor things that I hear or how my ears interpret what I'm listening to between the various platforms. But like I said, it doesn't take away from your overall enjoyment. Like I said, depending if you're doing a comparison, you'll like some songs better than others. But overall, I think you will definitely enjoy this album on vinyl. I've advocated for this release for quite a while, quite a number of episodes of Amari Purple Talk, and I'm glad it exists. And I enjoy it. I'm glad that, I wasn't wrong in that assessment, that it would come out and it would sound really, really great on vinyl. And there are a number of record stores across the country, across the planet, that would still, or that they still have copies available. If you don't find it at your local record store, you can always go online. Um, I would say go ahead and purchase from your local record store or a local record store, whether in person or online. You might find the pricing a little bit, um, how should I say it? It would be fair pricing compared to if you try to go on Amazon and acquire it. Because it won't be available on Amazon Prime. You will be at the mercy of some third party individual or outlet, trying to make a buck off of the, scarcity of this album. So, again, support your local record store. Again, you'll find the pricing a bit more reasonable. And definitely, this is a Prince album that I enjoy, and I'm glad it has a standalone release. I know we're in the glow of the anticipation of the Welcome to America album, but I'd say get this as well. Get the Welcome to America, but definitely get the truth. This is a project. It'd have been interesting in an alternate timeline if this was a standalone release in 1998 and there was promotion and videos and Prince making appearances and performing some of this material on television. I think this, if nothing else, if it didn't get some kind of Grammy, winning category, definitely probably would have been a great Grammy nominated album, if nothing else. So it is an album I enjoy. It was a great departure for Prince. We kind of get jazzed up on either the super funky, we get jazzed up on the heavy rock, we get jazzed up on, the romantic ballads and stuff. But, this was an artist who was about versatility. And it's a nice project to hear. It's definitely a great project to listen to. So I encourage you to go pick it up and support it. And again, like I said, I know we're in the glow of Welcome to America. I'm starting to see some kind of negativity, some kind of pushback regarding this album. I'm going to reserve my overall judgment until I have the album in my hands and listening to it, both the vinyl, the CD, probably listen to it while I'm streaming as I'm waiting for my deluxe edition to arrive. So, I mean, what's been leaked so far? There's been 3 tracks that have been released so far, and I dig the title track. I did a reaction to it several episodes ago. I guess the week that it dropped. The second track, "Born to Die," I do like that track a lot. Especially with the origins, like trying to oh, I'm not Curtis Mayfield enough. Okay, well, check this out. And granted, let's put it this way: there's only one Curtis Mayfield, and he was looked up to by everybody. Hendrix looked up to him. Obviously, Prince looked up to him. To me, a lot of Prince's ballads, you can trace to a song called "Sweet Exorcist" by Curtis Mayfield. If you haven't heard it, by all means, definitely check it out. Because, we don't really associate Curtis Mayfield with romantic ballads, but hell, even his romantic ballads are deep as hell. So by all means, check that one out. And like I said, you can see the template in place. You can feel the DNA of Prince balladry in that track. But it's a great reaction to it. I think my assessment of it, to me, would have been, instead of this being a reaction to not being Curtis Mayfield enough, if the song had been more inspired instead of a reaction, or being inspired by reaction as opposed to just being organically inspired, I think it would have been a better track. But I still enjoy that track. The latest one that was released was Hot Summer. And yeah, that track is feeling a lot of people feeling a bit flat and maybe doubtful about the rest of the album. Again, I'm going to reserve my overall judgment until I have the album in my hands, or at least until I've heard it while I'm waiting for my physical copy. But I'd say, don't let it dissuade you. Like I said, give it a shot. And like I said, I do have opinions, but I'm going to reserve those opinions until I've heard the whole thing. So there'll be an episode regarding that. Let's see, we are 2 episodes away from episode 100 before I kind of wind down and start preparing for the new season. So depending on if I get my physical copy on time, that will be within episode 99, episode 100 of Amari Purple Talk, and I will have my overall review of that album. But hey, it's not probably not going to be for everybody, and everybody has their favorite eras. And I know the cry is for, let's support everything, because if we support every single thing, the estate wins. So again, there's a couple of things, like I said, I want to study more in depth about what's going on with the Prince estate. I also want to, again, listen to the Welcome to America album before getting too deep into it. But just to wrap this episode up, I'll say this. You really don't get this with everybody else's, I would say, reissues, super deluxe editions, or whatever. And I'm talking about especially artists that have had serious longevity in the game. Again, there's every artist kind of has that 7 to 10 year period where they're just hitting on all cylinders. Everything, you just can't do any wrong. And then there's kind of like a leveling off period for a while where it's like, maybe that album wasn't too great, or maybe a few people like this album versus the mainstream. Maybe only the diehards bought another album. That's natural. But you have a few fans in those fan bases where, okay, a certain album by a certain artist, it isn't part of the classic period for that artist, but it is an album that, hey, most of the fan base supported, maybe some of the fan base supported it. But if it's just not that person's cup of tea, remember, music is subjective, even within your favorite. And we always have that sort of division of classic Prince versus, 2010 Prince versus 2014 Prince versus 1995 Prince. It's all one person, and it's all just whatever, whatever the mood was, whatever the influence was, whatever events were happening, or maybe nothing was happening at all. And yeah, I think overall, even if it's just the success of the classic period, it's not going to stop the estate from releasing anything. You know, I'm seeing all kind of stuff now. Rolling Stones has, now that, I mean, even though Bob Dylan's been doing it forever now, since the 90s, releasing all his unreleased live stuff or live recordings that have been bootlegged and things of that nature. He's been doing that. That's been going on for decades. And the mainstream isn't eating that up. Whatever. Bob Dylan's 1979 period isn't selling as well as his 1965 period. It's the fact that the fan base is showing up. It's just that, hey, the fan base, if they love whatever he was doing in 1979, they're buying it. They're buying the 5 CD deluxe set. They're buying the single album reissue, whatever. They're supporting it. That's natural. That's going to happen. But if there's somebody that was like, oh man, because Bob Dylan had that period too where he converted to Christianity, and that turned a lot of his fan base off. Just like when Prince converted to Jehovah's Witness, it turned a lot of his fan base off. And, but still sell out stadiums. He put out, I guess another album. Let's just say Musicology drop. People ran out and still bought it. We did go out and support the Rainbow Children. That's a strong album. I do have my criticisms of it, but I enjoy listening to that album. I love the sound of it. And I supported it. Got the vinyl, got the CD. But even if this does tank, it would be nice for it to sell. And I know they're kind of using the state of the world today as sort of the marketing tool for this. Even if it does tank, it's not going to end Prince releases. That's not going to happen. So all of that to say, music is subjective. And one person's favorite album is an album that nobody can stand. And listening to Amari Purple talk, I put a steering wheel on planet Earth and drive it all over this recording because it is not one of my favorite albums. But, I did buy it anyway because I'm a completist. But, and there are a couple of songs I do like on it. But, it's the world's not going to tank if, Welcome to America doesn't blow up. So, and they're not, Prince is too big for there not to be any more releases. It's just that, even Prince himself said, hey, not everybody's going to buy every album, but there is an album for everybody. And I know we get, social media is what it is, and you want to react to it. You want to oh God, here's the, it's cool. But I would say this, give the album a chance, listen to it in its entirety. And I think maybe the message isn't so much the music, but what's being said on it may end up being more important than the sound of it. And that's okay too. But, let's not, be quick to try to make this the next what's going on. Let's not try to be quick to make this the next Imagine or Give Peace a Chance or whatever. Let's not be quick to do that until we've heard this album in its entirety and see if it works as an album before we do. So that's it. Just give it a chance. If, like I said, it's not going to tank if the streaming numbers aren't what they are. It's not going to tank if it doesn't go number one, if it's not the number one, unreleased album ever. it's not going to end the Prince musical singularity. There's going to be something for everybody. This will be for the people that have absolutely adored this era. I don't know anything about this particular period. I mean, what I was dealing with in 2010, 2011, going into 2012. I pick up a few things on social media, but I couldn't get involved. And this was definitely an album that we couldn't go physically buy. My last point of reference at that particular time would have been the 2010 album, which I love, and I was playing that before, preparing for the show. And while what I've heard so far doesn't match that level of excitement, it doesn't mean that I'm not still excited for this project. I'm excited for the album, the CD, the Blu-ray, and hopefully through listening to this, I will see what I missed out on. Because I wasn't able to go to, make it to somebody's city to see the Welcome to America tour as much as I would have loved it. Even if it was able to come here, I wouldn't have been in the position to go see it. Or no, take that back. Maybe I would. I probably would have made an effort, or somehow, some way, I would have made it. But it didn't make it anywhere near to where I was to where I could get to go see it. And I've seen little clips here and there, but I'm looking forward to seeing the tour in its entirety, and I'm looking forward to hearing the album, and like I said, giving it a good honest review. Then I'm sure there'll be some things that I like. There are things that I don't like. Like I said, the track Hot Summer, while I wasn't too excited about it, I got it. It's quirky. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it as a track. To me, it's sort of Sly and the Family Stone's Hot Fun in the Summertime meets Beach Blanket Bingo. And that was just based on hearing the song's origins on that podcast that the estate has on that. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I do, yeah. So that's my feeling of it. Does it work? I don't know. Like I said, I like it. I don't love it. I didn't like it as much as the other two tracks that were leaked. But again, it didn't take away from my excitement for the album, and can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to watch the Blu-ray. And we'll go from there. So that will end this episode. What did you guys think about The Truth? Did you get it on vinyl? How was your listening experience? Did you compare it to having the original CD? If you had the original CD, did you listen to it on streaming if you didn't? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. Also, too, Welcome to America. Anticipated or excited for its release? Or have you been one of the people that have been like, oh, I don't know about this one? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're looking forward to it or not. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And that is going to end this week's episode of Amari Purple Talk. Tune in next week on your favorite podcast platform. And again, if you're listening on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, whatever, and be informed on all Amari Communications projects, which during that month, as I'm planning for the new season of Amari Purple Talk, I will be finishing some things. Some things are moving forward, but I finally will take the time to actually finish them. So, by all means, tune in next week. And until then, be safe. Shout out to all the cities, countries. It seems like we're heading in the opposite direction of things getting better. I'm not one to say whether you should or whether you shouldn't, but by all means, whatever you do, keep your immune system boosted. Make sure you take your vitamins, your C, your D, your elderberry, whatever you do, stay in shape, work out, do some exercise, stay active, keep your immune system boosted. All the other craziness on the planet, center yourselves. Just be cool, be calm. Also remember, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Little arguments are a waste of time. Nobody's getting paid for a title match. So unless somebody's signing you a check for a couple of mil to get in the ring, ain't no argument worth any, losing anything over your life, your health, anything. So do that. Also create your day and then create your life. Everyone deserves to be happy. Everybody wants to have a good place to live, put food on the table, take care of their families. So, if where you at presently isn't fulfilling, there's no law that says that you can't be happy. So by all means, pursue that happiness, pursue that skill, pursue that life, do what you do, create your day, create your life, and keep it purple and on the one.